Come on guys, quitting weed is easy. I've done it over 100 times now. Last time was this morning. Joke aside, that was an old one. That was a bad one, sorry. Hey, I'm Vergo and this is Psychedelic Actualization. On this channel we talk about topics like self-realization, self-actualization and working with psychedelics in a responsible manner to live a more authentic and fulfilling life. So if you're interested in any of these topics, subscribe to the channel and check out my website psychedelicactualization.com. So this video is about how to quit smoking weed. I have smoked weed for 3 years straight. I was a stoner. I still love weed, but I had to stop, and I stopped for 3.5 years. You can watch the story, my whole story with cannabis, right over here. I shared my whole story, all the benefits, all the dangers, and what happened afterwards. That's my background, and today I want to share some tips, some powerful tips that have helped me in my journey to quit smoking and to actually follow through on the commitment of taking a break for a year, for 2 years, for 3 years, or to stop altogether. My personal intention was to take a break for a year. Now it's been 3.5 years. And yeah, there's a lot of interesting things that influence your commitment, because it is a very personal choice. And this personal choice, it kind of springs forth from an intuition inside of yourself that smoking all the time is not 100% in alignment anymore. At least that's how it was for me. And then I noticed, it's like I want to quit, but I want to smoke again. And yeah, you gotta really be honest with yourself and look deep within. And ask yourself, is it supporting me on my path at the moment? Or is it hindering me in some way? Is it building me up or is it bringing me down? Is it bringing love and consciousness into my relationships? Or is it harming them and forming some form of tension in some way? And base your decision, this internal commitment, to stop upon a direct experience and trust yourself in that experience. And when you make a commitment, I will share some tips on how to actually follow through on that commitment of stop smoking or stop consuming cannabis altogether. And as I said, it's a very unique thing. Your experience and you yourself have a different relationship to cannabis than me or than any other person. And everybody experiences this on a different level. And yeah, when you stop smoking, it kind of makes you get to know yourself a little bit better. It makes you perceive reality in a different way, which is a very beautiful thing. So how to actually stop smoking? 3 different things: physical environment, mentally and mindset, and behavior. Let's start with the physical ones. Very easy ones is, first of all, get rid of all your smoking gear. Get rid of all those papers, all the weed, the grinder, just everything, just leave it. Sell the vaporizers, everything, get rid of it, so you don't have it in your house anymore. The second one, a radical one, but a very effective one, is a new environment, a whole new environment. So that means, if that means changing a city or just changing an apartment, to leave all those old stories behind and all those experiences in this old apartment, leave it all behind, move to a different apartment, or more radically, move to a different city if it's possible for you, to start anew, to make a new life for yourself, to leave that stoner life behind. And third one, social circle, also very radical one, but sort out your pot friends. It's hard to say because those people are beautiful people, but sometimes those relationships are not serving you anymore. Really feel into yourself to see what relationships are true relationships and true friends, which benefit you also when you're not smoking with them. And then sort out all the other ones. Just leave them behind, do it kindly, and yeah, don't hang around with so many stoners anymore. if you're a little bit into your break and you're strong in your commitment, then you can hang around stoners. I've been hanging around a lot of people who smoke in the last couple of years, and I was strong enough to say no because I was so deep into my commitment. So if that's you, then it's okay. But at the start, especially, leave those behind. And then, at the same time, build a new community, build a real community, build a community and friendships and relationships for yourself where you can get this sense of community, this sense of approval, which is gonna make you feel good. And you go out and do stuff with those people. Don't be alone in your journey, but actually go out in some places, some events where your interests are, and connect with people who are not smoking. And that's a very powerful way. So get rid of all smoking gear, change your environment, and change your social circle. This is a physical environment. Then a lot of it, of how to quit smoking, has to do with your mindset, with how you mentally feel about it and think about it. First of all, do not bullshit yourself. So, a common phrase is, I know I could stop for 30 days. I know I could stop for a year. And that's why I don't do it. It's like, don't bullshit yourself. If you haven't done it, then maybe you can't. I have really tried to stop for 100 times before I actually did it. And it's hard. It's like, you stop for a week and then it's like, oh, that was easy. I could do a month, and then you start smoking again, and then you just forget about it, and then still the struggle is like, oh, I should stop. No, don't bullshit yourself. It's like, keep that in mind. And also, if you relapse, forgive yourself. It's okay. It's like, don't be too hard on yourself. Then, next point, don't even count the days. I felt when I was counting the days during stopping, it's like, I'm gonna get to 30 days. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, that's not the way. If it helps you, maybe, but I don't think it's the way to count the days. Because counting the days has a bad annotation, a bad attachment to it of you internally want to smoke, but you are counting the days. It's kind of a behavior shift that you're doing. But what helps me, and I think which is very beneficial for all habit change, is an identity shift. An identity shift in comparison to a behavior shift. So, because behavior follows your self-image, it follows your identity. Your identity also kind of follows your behavior, but identity first, then behavior. Makes it easier. So, you have to internally do a shift of, I do not smoke. I am not a smoker. That is your new identity. You have shifted your identity. It's just a shift of perception of, I don't smoke cannabis anymore. It's like, I am not a cannabis consumer. And that's, from that point of identity, your behavior shifts. It's easier to leave it behind. Instead of, I am a stoner, I love smoking cannabis. Well, I love smoking cannabis beside, I still do that. But I am a stoner, but I need a break. That's not as beneficial for your break, right? Because then you still identify as a smoker, and this desire to follow through with behavior upon your identity is very strong, and that makes it very difficult to quit. But when you change your identity, you change your behavior. Very strong point, very beneficial point. And also, get to the root of the problem. If you have a problem with cannabis, if you have a problem with addiction, somewhere deep inside you there's a root to that problem. And if you solve that root, you can solve the addiction. And it can be a lot of different things for different people. It can be a lack of life purpose, a lack of direction and vision in your life. If you have a vision and a life purpose and it requires you to stop smoking, then it's way easier to do that. A good one, I think the basic one for all of us, is a separation from God. And with that I mean it's separation from consciousness. It's basically a separation from yourself. and from that inherent love of existence, this inherent beauty and this mystery, and to have and build this connection to the source of all being, which is basically the point of all spirituality and of all mystical traditions. That is the root of the problem, I guess. And then there's different layers to it. For example, mental health problems, kind of weird things in your mind and thoughts and depression and anxiety and all that kind of stuff. That's like a different layer of it. But basically, it's like, don't avoid your feelings. Don't be afraid to avoid, to face your feelings, right? Don't avoid to face anything at all, because you are strong enough to face it, with and without cannabis. And then there is a behavior change, just basic habits change, behavior change. For example, develop healthy addictions. If you're addicted to cannabis, replace, just to start this journey of quitting, replace the addiction with another addiction, with a little bit more healthy addiction, just to get rid of the cannabis, and then you can work on the other addiction later on. For example, exercise is going to be a really healthy addiction. Meditation is a really healthy addiction. Reading, or just also on the side of substances. For example, I use a lot of rapé nowadays. It's a shamanic snuff that you blow up into your nose, and then you can kind of get this nicotine rush. But they use it traditionally in the Amazon, in the Huni Queen tribe, and at the moment I feel more good with the regular use of rapé than I do with the regular use of cannabis, because it's also a different effect. Like it also gives me this release, but it's just very short, 10 minutes, and then afterwards I can go into focus work again. Or Blue Lotus, for example, you can watch a video about Blue Lotus right here. You can smoke different stuff and different herbs that do not have the effects of cannabis, just to get rid of the cannabis and then just replace that activity with another more healthy or more beneficial addiction for you at the time. Just find what works for you. There's a lot of different options out there. Or also, relating to this point of mental health problems and the root of the problem, an action you could take is, I don't recommend it. I haven't tried it by myself, but maybe it helps you to find a therapist, go to addiction treatment. If it's really severe and all those other points do not help you to quit, then maybe that's an option. And last point I would like to share is my golden rule. The golden rule that has helped me to finally be able to leave it behind, and also to say no in situations where people smoke cannabis. And this golden rule is kind of the foundation of my journey of being able to quit for 3.5 years, or to take this long break and to really do not have the desire to smoke anymore. Well, I have the desire kind of, but I'm more in control of that. And this golden rule is you decide when you start to smoke again. So I made a commitment to myself that the first joint, the first time I'm gonna be consuming cannabis after my break, I'm gonna do it alone. So it's just me and the cannabis. It's just us. It's a very personal thing, right? So this kind of was cutting out all the opportunities with all the hippies and stoners and festivals and all these options to smoke. I was just cutting them out by the commitment that I am in control of when I want to smoke again. Cause the first joint I'm gonna smoke by myself. Even though there have been beautiful situations where people smoked chillums, beautiful situations on mountaintops, and you can't believe. But I was like, no, I'm gonna smoke by myself, the first joint. And this kind of puts you more in tune with yourself and with your feelings. And then when you sit there alone and you have a little bit of weed, you actually look at yourself and you look inside and you you ask yourself, do I really want to smoke right now? And most of the time the answer for me has been no. Actually, I want to continue on my break. And then if you decide to smoke, it's your personal choice. And then you can see how you move forward. And I feel the desire to smoke again. If you want to see me on my journey of smoking my first joint after 3.5 years, it's gonna be a really interesting and intense experience. Subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna share the trip report, the live trip of that experience very soon here on this channel. And also, if you're interested in self-realization, self-actualization, working with psychedelics, you can follow me on Instagram, Psychedelic Actualization. You can go to my website, psychedelicactualization.com, if you want to talk to me one-on-one. And yeah, all the blessings on your journey of maybe trying to quit smoking. Do not be too hard on yourself. Have a blessed journey with and without cannabis. I still love cannabis to this day, but sometimes it is more beneficial and more in alignment for ourselves when we take a break for a little while or leave it altogether. I hope this video helped you to make this decision for yourself and provided you with some value and some tips of how to actually quit. Some very practical things that helped me in my life. All the love, all the blessings. Thank you very much for watching to the very end, and I will see you in the next one.